Oh, yeah. How are we doing, everybody? What the heck is going on? Obviously, myself, I am live at this very moment. Yep, just got the notification. It's official. It's officially official on this Monday. Holy fuck, am I having a case of the Mondays? Let me tell you. I am definitely, well, I wouldn't say I'm not grumpy. I'm definitely not grumpy. But I'm definitely a bit more like I woke up this morning and this is reminding me to take my ashwagandha. I'm sitting here looking at that stuff right now. I'm like, fuck, man. Why am I tired? I'm tired. Like, that's actually what it is. I'm fucking tired. And that's kind of it. I'm like, my body's beat. My mind is fucking exhausted. I woke up this morning. I'm like, yo, I need a vacation. Like, I need to get the fuck away from this place for a little while. And yeah, I don't know. Go see some shit. Go do some shit. Maybe I could take a little trip this weekend. Actually, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. Pack up the little guy. Head out of town for a wee bit. We'll see what happens with this whole Corona AIDS shit that's going on. Not much in the news today about it. I mean, just, 80,000 confirmed cases in China for sure. Probably underestimated one, but who cares? Whatever. It's not a big deal. I made a call yesterday that was completely wrong. I said that the stock market was going to plummet today. I figured that was going to happen. But because of all this other good stuff, and because people thought that was the lowest that I was going to get, people obviously started buying more shares and so forth. And that didn't happen. And I think Philip Franklin's probably going to say something along the lines of the Fed dumping some, I don't know the actual stuff, but dumping some money into it or whatever. No. I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to it anyway. Anyway, no big fucking deal. No big deal. We got Daniel in the house. We got Kevin in the house. We got Jules Verne up in this heezy. We got 10 people watching live at this very moment. Of course, with that said, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my channel. I'm going to click on this puppy. I'm going to mute me, and I'm going to click the like button because that's what cool people do. What's up, Brent? How we doing today? Let's make sure we hit that like button for show. 13 people watching live now, and I got 7 likes. Let's make sure we get those numbers up. Get those numbers up. Oh, balls. Let's put that over there. Fucking shit. Poopy. I don't think so. I've been able to get on it. Let me check. I did some updates though. Maybe that's what caused the glitch. Sometimes it's a little slow and you actually got to hit it like 3 times and then wait. If you look at the bottom bar, it'll say like website loading. Visit site. I'm looking. I'm waiting. This isn't a good sign. Waiting for the WarTribe. You could be right. I'm not going to say, oh, nope. It just loaded for me. What it is? What's up, dude? I didn't see you in here yesterday. I was worried. Very worried. I didn't sleep well last night because of it. Good. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? We got 22 people watching live at this current time. People are floating on in here. Let's make sure we're hitting that like button, or else I'm the 9 will come and find you and fight you. That's not a threat. That's not a threat. I promise you. It's just what he says. Oh, yeah. So yesterday was a little bit crazy. Like I said, got a couple rounds in with the old 9. For those of you guys that aren't a member of Patreon, I uploaded a new post smash interview yesterday, not from the lady from yesterday, but from another one. So if you're a Patreon member, go ahead and take a look at that. Leave a comment, guys. If you guys are listening to those, leave some comments. Hit the like button over there on Patreon as well. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you're getting anything out of it. Going to do a fragrance review later myself, just to review a couple since we are changing seasons here. Going to talk about some. Actually, you know what? I got a different one that I'm going to do too. I got some samples in from a very expensive house that a lot of people normally really like. I'm going to give my 2 cents on a couple. I'll probably pick out 5 and then probably pick out 5 more later on and do that, but whatever. Just got my official WarTribe mandatory carry in the mail. Daddy likes, LOL. Mine's going to be in the mail tomorrow. I'm very, very, very excited. Barry knows exactly what's going on here. We got 29 people up in here as well. Let's make sure we're hitting that fucking like button. God damn it. 18 likes with 29 people. Let's go. Let's get up there. Let's do this. Took the bike out today. What a great ride. Weather it was perfecto. Yeah, you guys on the East Coast are getting some good weather this winter, even though I guess it's technically winter still, right? What it is. What's up, dude? How we doing? Someone else got their official WarTribe carry in the mail today too. I know, right? If you rewind it literally like 2 or 3 minutes, you'll see that I've already conceded that I am a terrible prophesier, however the fuck you want to say it. I'm terrible at reading the future. So, well, when it comes to the stock market, don't take financial advice from me, even though I think it's going to collapse here soon. That's just me. The writing is on the wall. The Dems want Trump to suffer and look bad. The globalists want to see the same thing happen at the same time. Just because there's a little bump today doesn't mean it's not going to get rocky here. It could just be me being an asshole as well. I mean, I don't want to say I'm fully prepared, but your boy's ready. Tomorrow will mark the final piece as my official WarTribe carry comes in the mail. No, take these off for a second and clean them up. Not looking too good. See, this is why I wear glasses. Because I got so many fucking lights, man. Makes me squint the whole time. And I just look fucking cool as hell. Hello. And you got to kind of like furrow your brow wearing this crown. Kind of weird. That did fuck all. Awesome. What's up, KFC? I'm guessing that stands for King fucking Corey. I don't know. Your book is great so far. Showed up on my Kindle today. Should have showed up yesterday. But yeah, I think it's a great book. I might actually buy it on Kindle myself and start reading it. Yeah, I did say fragrance review, my dude. I did say fragrance review. I do $5 fragrance reviews on my Patreon. And then if you're a $10 member, you get to hear the post smash interviews plus the fragrance reviews. I really should have done a markup on that one, but a few people were like, hey, can I get access to, yeah, whatever. And then the person who did that quit my Patreon, which is okay. Maybe he's having some financial troubles. Maybe he's mad at me for the Rule Zero stuff. Who knows? It's okay. Limit. All right, my man. I've traded options for years, more than willing to give a perspective. Yeah, no doubt, dude. I don't know fuck all. I'm not gonna lie. I try to vote on the side of psychology is really what it comes down to. But I didn't know any of the stuff on the back end. Like Philip Franklin knows all the stuff that's going on in the back end. So yeah, the market will recover short term and then sell off. Absolutely. It's a seller's rally. Daniel Molina up in here. Yeah, boy. That's what I'm talking about. 32 people up in here watching live right now, and we got 26 likes. Guess what we got to do? Guess what we got to do? Oh, so yeah. My day so far today has been crazy. I went and did another Costco run. Didn't buy anything too crazy today other than just like the essentials for me personally. Although I bought it in like bulk. So I'm going to be fucking meal prepping like up the wazoo kind of deal. Oopsies. Got to open Vegas RP house. Yeah, I'm going to respond to your email. I think I'll respond to you offline just so we could continue talking about it for sure. Great call earlier today on Donovan's show, man. Wasn't expecting that. LOL. Yo, he hit some topics sometimes where I'm just like, well, first and foremost, like I think it like popped up on my Twitter, and I normally don't even check Twitter. Saw his show, saw what the what's it called was about, started watching it. Then he's like, hey, I'm going to be doing call-ins here in a second. I was like, fuck, I got to call in. Like I got my jam on this one. And I called in. Dude's awesome. I fucking love Donovan. Seriously, he's such a fucking good dude. How did your... Ooh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love it. I think right after Philip Franklin got those, what's it called, in the mail, he got sick. He got hit hard with the flu. So I think he took a little bit of a break off of dating. But Philip Franklin, let us know what you thought of Side Effect and Rehab. You got to get back out there with that. I definitely say that Rehab is something you could rock and roll at this point in time. He got the corona for sure. Amazing fragrances. Definitely my two favorite from the House of Initio. JJ, I don't know if you know this, but I also have Oud for Greatness. I got that one myself as well. And when I first smelled it, I was a little bit disappointed, as I always am with most oud fragrances. I think oud is really hard to wear. I really do. But I also think that Initio did a great job with it. I rocked it for a full day the other day. After some time, though, it started to get a little bit annoying. It did. Because the opening notes on it, which last a pretty good amount of time, are amazing. But the back end of the dry down is just... It's kind of like, all right, I'm bored smelling this. I get tired of it, you know? So I sprayed something over top of it, and I forgot what I sprayed over top of it, but it was a good mix. I think I did Leighton. I think I threw Leighton over the top of it, and it was pretty good. So I layered it a bit, and that was good for show. 41 people watching live at this very moment. If you guys don't know, I'm a huge fan of the House of Initio. I got I got 3 samples. I mean, because Initio is expensive, guys. So, and normally I don't do this on my live shows because I want you to go to my Patreon, but whatever. I'm a huge fan of the House of Initio. I wish I could own all of them, even though I got Blessed Baraka, and I'm not a huge fan of it. It's way too leathery. I have in my hand right here, I don't know if you guys could read this. It's called Psychedelic Love. Come on, stupid Zoom. What are you doing? Fucking webcams, bro. Ooh. It's not too terrible. Even though I think I've worn it before. Hey, let's put that puppy on there, eh? There's the opening. I kind of forgot about this one a little bit. Ooh. Smelling a little bit of rose in there and a little bit of vanilla. It's not too bad, but it's not my favorite. But I would definitely wear it. I would buy, like, if I were fucking stupid rich, I would definitely buy this one. And hold on to it, but probably not wear it too much. And then here I also have Mystic Experience Blah, 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 blah. Mystic experience. Now, I've never worn fragrance before. You're fucking whatever. You're crazy, bro. OFD gets me compliments out the ass. Love that shit. Just ordered another bottle of PDM. Dude, I don't even know what that is. Oh, Perfume de Marly. Lipizan? What? I've never even heard of that. Bro, you need to shoot me some emails. My boy, fucking Tommy Bahama, he keeps recommending to me to get Yves Saint Laurent tuxedo, so I might actually order a sample of that. Yeah, you need to shoot me an email with some stuff to get. Ever see the movie Perfume? Super underrated, but really good. Thank you for reminding me of something I need to talk about right now too, Miko. I'm going to get into it real quick, but let me spray this motherfucker real quick, huh? Jeez Louise, you guys are getting me off topic. It's all good though. All right, Scott, we'll get on you too. JJ, I want to see what you recommend to him, but all right, this is Mystic Experience. I'm going to let it settle a little bit. It's smelling a little different this time, this go around. It's a Parfum de Marly original. No kidding, dude. Yeah. So the only two that I like from Parfum de Marly are Leighton and Ojan. I want to get my hands on some Ojan. I only got a sample of that as well. I fucking hate doing samples, to be honest with you. I like buying stuff. But the problem is once you start getting into these higher houses, like what I'm talking about right now, like that the average price for the Initio ones that I'm talking about right now are $305 a bottle. The Parfums de Marly range from $275 to $330, I believe is what they range from. This is Ojan. I'm fucking done already with Ojan. I fucking blasted through it. I love it. Why? Because it smells very similar to Leighton, but it has its own flavor to it. Yeah, fuck. It smells so different today. I should have blasted it a little bit harder. I like Mystic Experience. To me, it's got like a lemony, citrus smell to it, but not like the citrusy smell that you get from Creed, like pineapple. And then there's a good level of vanilla underneath it, I believe. And I think this is a good wear for summer and spring, so I might actually get some later on. Scott, it really does depend on your personality. These things are personality amplifiers is what I consider it. And it's also about what kind of mindset you want to be in. I'm going to go for sure with that one. Prada Luna Rosa Black is something that I always recommend to a bunch of guys to start off, especially when it comes to dating. Actually, believe it or not, this Mystic Experience reminds me a lot of Prada Luna Rosa Black, but with that lemon in it. Oh, man. Actually, now this is fucking so good. I love this. It's different from anything I've ever smelled. There's also a bit of leather to it, like really deep underneath it. It's kind of weird. So it adds a little bit of a masculine scent to it. Unlike High Frequency, I got this little decant of it because I don't like anything that has like a rose smell to it. Even a woman, if she wears a perfume that's flowery or smells like rose, I'm like, ugh, get away from me. And that's like a lot of the old style perfumes. I went and smelled recently though. Oh shit, I'm pretty sure I got it right here. Tom Ford just got a new one called Rose Prick. Yeah, it's pretty much dead on here. Not too terrible. It's a little bit too feminine for me, but I could probably rock it. I actually like rocking. My favorite fragrances, honestly, are unisex fragrances. I like wearing unisex fragrances myself. I know that sounds weird. I like unisex because it avoids the chemicals that they put in that make it smell like a musky cologne or just like a cologne in general. I don't like that. It's too masculine for me. I like rocking something where like when I walk past someone, they're going to be like, God damn, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Instead of it being like, oh yeah, it's just a typical fucking dude and his fucking cologne, right? It's like they see me walking by and then I blow their mind with this completely different fragrance than what they'd ever expect me to fucking be wearing, right? So there's that. Not to mention with unisex, One unisex fragrance will smell completely different on me because of my pheromones and the oils in my skin and all this other stuff than it would on a woman, right? So that's why I like rocking it too, because it's completely different than what most people would think. So for you, Scott, I would recommend Prada Luna Rosa Black. That's for sure a good start. For some reason, I'm really sensing that you would do well with Givenchy Gentleman. I think you do really well with that. And then I'm always a huge fan of Ultra Male. Jean Paul Gaultier's Ultra Male. That's if you want to just stick with designers, which are a-okay. I'm kind of pushing past the designer house stuff. So designers are like the ones, if you go to like Macy's or Nordstrom's and stuff, those are kind of going to be your main line, like the Chanel's, the Jean Paul Gaultier's, the Azzaros. I could go on and on, continue to list all that stuff, but I can't stand JJ. I don't know if you're in the same boat as me, but I fucking can't stand any of the Invictuses. Can't stand it. How long ago did you get into the fragrance game? Probably about 6 months ago. I was probably, Zara Wanted by Night. Not too terrible. I don't know. Yeah, I got you. I'm loving Tom Ford fucking Fabulous. I still got a few sprays left in the decant. Yeah, I love that one personally. It's very polarizing though. People either love it or they hate it. And actually that's what I like. I like when it's very polarizing. That's it. Unisex only works with some natural masculine smells mixed in, my opinion. I agree with you. Yeah, if it's too, because you can pick those things up, like for sure. Like I just had High Frequency hanging out here. It's labeled as a unisex, but it's too feminine. There's not enough masculine pickup in there. So like Mystic Experience, what I just kind of described, like there's lemon, there's vanilla, there's kind of that powdery smell to it too, like you'll get out of Blue Rosa Black. But then there's a hint of leather underneath, and it's very well masked leather. It's really good. How much do I spray on before I go out? Can you show me? Right now, I'm not going to show you because I'll fucking kill myself with what's it called. But all right, if I had the bottle, it depends on what you're having too, because this is the thing you got to understand. There's some fragrances out there that don't project that much. So this is where a lot of people go wrong. Like I got into an argument with one key person in the manosphere, let's say, and he was telling people not to get fragrances and just buy tactical soap. He's like, fragrances are for losers. He didn't really say that, but that's kind of what he was getting at. Just smell like you just came back from the gym. Okay, bro. But a lot of people think, because they're still locked into the old school cologne style stuff where it's like, holy crap, this guy literally just sprayed like 10 sprays on. He must have. And I'm sure most people spray like 5, right? But if it's a projection monster, you don't want to spray that much because you don't want it to project too much. Now, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, it depends on what you're using. This puppy right here, Mystic Experience, it's pretty light, it's pretty fair, and it's only going to project maybe like a 1 arm's distance, maybe a little bit more. So I'd probably spray 5 with this one. I'd go 1 on each side of the neck, 1 on the chest, 1 on my wrists and clap my wrists, and then maybe do 1 on the back of my neck so that I could have a trail as I walk. Jeremy Fragrance, if you guys don't watch any of his stuff, even though I'm a little bit jaded by him now because I picked up his new fragrance, Date for Men, and I'm not impressed with it. There's too much ambroxan in it. I feel like he didn't do anything original. It's not a niche fragrance whatsoever. He tried to kind of sell out and be like a designer, and it seems like he mixed like 3 major designer, what's it called? And it's more for the sales rather than just being a actual designer. So there's that. But go and listen to some of his stuff. He's pretty good. Him and Gent Sense, even though fucking Ash is definitely a blue pill fucking cuck. He's married to a feminist for sure. I'm listening and leveling up. I look up the specific fragrance and see what people do, or ask you guys. Yeah, I mean, dude, you're in the fucking WarTribe chat. Yeah. I'm not going to read this aloud, but I'm going to allow people to read this. This is one person's perspective. That's that. Yeah, and don't smoke cigarettes. Your face will look like Mick Jagger's. That's funny. I do spray my shirt. I spray my chest. A lot of people say not to spray your clothes, but I put one right in like the center of my chest, and then I spray my neck. The thing is this, a lot of these are oil based and they interact with your skin better. And that's how it kind of pulls that stuff out. But I also like to have this one, and I do that there for me. I don't do that for anybody else. I'm wearing these fragrances for me. And sure, there's some added, what's it called to it, right? There's some added benefits. But man, I wear these for me. I like to smell them. I'm proud of, I guess, my nose and my purchase, or I don't know. Like, it's weird. It puts you in a different state. What's wrong with Brute and Musk? I personally don't like it. That's just me, man. That's just me. Yeah. I mean, there's some men out there that like it's very, very personality based, man. It's very, very personality based. I was surprised by it. Honestly, like when I'm telling you what changed what changed the game for me was I smelled Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford about a year and a half ago on this girl. And I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like, I stopped her and I was like, what are you wearing? And she's like, oh, I'm wearing Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. And I looked it up immediately on my phone. And I saw that it was like a $295 bottle. And I was like, pretty broke back then. Like, just emerging out of like my bankruptcy and all this other stuff and getting back on the saddle and all this other shit. Maybe it's like 2 years ago. And I was like, fuck, I can never get that. Like, that's ridiculous. But I was like so pissed because I loved it. I loved it. So I was out probably about 6-7 months ago with a friend of mine that I was catching up with. We went and hung out in the mall and got some coffee together. And he's like, dude, I've been wanting to go smell these colognes. He's like, you want to go check them out with me? And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, I haven't worn, because believe it or not, I was in the same mindset as Rich at that point in time. I was like, I don't need it. I don't want it. I can pick up girls on my own with just my musk, just my natural scent. I was like, that's the type of person I was too. Like, I don't need anything additional. And boy, was I wrong. Because I fell in love right after this. So we went and we smelled a couple. I forgot exactly what he was smelling, basic designer stuff. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, dude, I want to go smell Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. Would you come with me to check that out? He's like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go do that. So I asked the lady at Macy's, I was like, where could I find Tom Ford fragrances? And she's like, oh, you're going to have to go to Nordstrom for that. So I went to Nordstrom, walked right up to the Tom Ford counter, and I was like, I'm not buying a fucking thing. I'm just smelling these things, right? I was like, lady, I want to smell Tobacco Vanille right now. And she's like, okay, here you go. And I smelled it, and I was like, okay, yeah, pretty good. And she's like, well, you got to smell it on your skin because that's how it's going to be. So I had her spray my wrist, and it got on my watch. And then I was like, holy fuck. I looked at the line and I saw fucking Fabulous. And I was like, oh my God, $335 for 50 milliliters. She's like, yeah, that's his newest one. It's really polarizing. Like, you got to give it a smell. I was like, oh wow, this is fucking crazy. She's like, yeah, I know. I was like, can you spray that on me too so I can smell it? So she sprays it on my bicep. And I was like, fuck, all right. I kept smelling it. I just kept smelling it. I couldn't stop. Like, I couldn't put my mind on it. Like, I couldn't contain it in my mind. It fucking just set everything loose. And then I started imagining how that would smell with other people smelling that. I'm like, if I can't put my nose on it and I can't compartmentalize it, I'm like, that also has to have the same reaction for other people. And then I think she sprayed Oud Wood on this side of me. And I was like debating between Oud Wood and fucking Fabulous. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'll answer that here in a second. And then literally 2 days later, actually, I went back and bought Oud Wood because I thought that was the safer bet than fucking Fabulous. And then 2 days after that, I was like smelling that on my arm. And I was like, I need to go get that. So I went and I bought it, I think. Can't remember. But it's just crazy how this stuff happens. Sorry, that was supposed to be a joke. Yeah, I got you. What do you think of Carlisle? I can't put my nose on what Carlisle was again. So if you want to, please describe it to me. I think is that the tobacco one in the black? It's not in the same black as Ojan, but it's in like the lighter black one. Let me look it up. Yeah, fucking Fabulous is my jam. Seriously, it's my favorite. Even though it's not the best smelling out of all of them, it's my favorite. Like, it's my baby in a way, as weird as that sounds. Carlisle notes. Am I thinking of Herod? No, I was right. Yeah, it's in the black. And I think it's a fragrance for women. It's not. Bergamot mandarin, violet jasmine, Gaiac wood, Indonesian patchouli, Guatemalan cardamom. I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan. I take Ojan over this. Ojan. Yeah, what are you doing, aren't you? Oh, from Walmart? $233 from Walmart for Ojan? Get out of here, dude. That's crazy. Walmart getting down on some fucking Parfums de Marly. Ojan, which is normally a $330 bottle. $233 from Walmart. That's crazy. Anyway. T. Williams, I have the black bottle, in my opinion, more appealing than Leighton. Got to disagree. But it's all right. That's Creed for me. See, I have Creed sitting right here. Another sample. Keep all my samples sitting around the desk so I can smell them occasionally. Yeah, Creed doesn't do it for me. Someone fucking dropped this bomb in my mind and I can't get it out now. He just said, think of pineapple. All I can smell is just pineapple juice or pineapple whatever. It's whatever. Corey, Spice Bomb line best, Spice Bomb original. That's all you got to get. Now, Rehab smells a lot like Spice Bomb, but 1,000 times better. So Initio Rehab is amazing. Don't get me wrong. I have my decant of Leighton. Yeah, absolutely. You know what's crazy? After smelling all these Initio parfums, though, Initio fragrances, I went back and I smelled Leighton, and I'm just not nearly as impressed. Even though, don't get me wrong, it's still a killer, and it's still within my top 3. I started smelling different notes. It's way spicier. Before, all I could smell was what they call fermented coffee. That's all I could smell in the opening notes. Now all I smell is like spicy pepper, which is, I mean, not pepper, but like it's good, but just I smell different stuff now. It's crazy. It's a mix of Herod and Leighton. Cool. Ojan is the way to go. Do you microdose anything for self-improvement? I microdosed Iboga. I ran out though. So I haven't microdosed shit lately. And now I just take fucking Gorilla Mind Rush. And if you haven't taken Gorilla Mind Rush, holy fuck. Seriously. I can take that as a pre-workout, and then after I'm done working out, I can still come on here and rock and roll. It's pretty good. It lasts for quite some time. Exactly. Adding good sense adds another level of attraction. The thing that people don't understand is this puppy right here, olfactory, goes directly to your brain, and it recalls different types of memories. You don't have to go through the filter of through the ears, through the brain. It just goes nose to brain, right? Or eyes, whatever, right? Like all sorts of different levels of judgment. You could really impact someone by the way you smell, honestly. We will be the only guys in the coronavirus aisle apocalypse smelling Chad like Chad Thundercocks. Absolutely. You should see my fucking, what's it called over there, of 40 some odd. It's like, I'm going to be smelling fresh, baby. I'm going to be smelling good. Yeah, smelling like ass and armpit isn't going to go well, even in a supercar. Use every advantage with women. Cologne is another tool in your box. Exactly. I'm glad I pulled this one up. That's a good one, too. As a matter of fact, I got a little bit right there from earlier today, but we're not going to talk about that one. Fucking goddamn people. Yeah, the shirt spray is definitely worth it if she's wearing your shirt home. Even though I don't give girls my clothes. I never do. I had one girl afterwards. I think she was trying to stay the night, though, so that's why. And she's like, can you go get me one of your shirts? And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're not wearing my shirt. And she started crying. And I just went over to the fucking cabinet after that, like when she was sitting there on the couch crying, and I went and I grabbed some snacks. I grabbed some trail mix and I just started eating it. Oh, man. You're not going to fucking emotionally manipulate me. Exactly. This is exactly it. I mean, you guys can see how moved I am by talking about fragrance. So this is 100% all for me. Yeah, I used to be this guy too. I used to be an essential oils guy in a way. This was mainly when I was dealing with my PTSD, and I had to actually I had put lavender on the back of my neck and under my nose, or back of my neck, and I put peppermint under my nose, and that actually really helped with the anxiety and depression that I was dealing with. So I rocked and rolled those things, and then I was also using kava and valerian root, and I would mix it up in some water. And that would help kind of like reduce my stress, but I've progressed far past that point now, and I could rock and roll these things. Now, the cool thing I got to tell you, like, especially with Initio, is all of the, what's it called? In Initio's parfums, right? Or their fragrances are natural. So that's another reason why I'm a big supporter. And that's why they're so damn expensive too. Sweet. Yeah. Buy a bunch of samples. I go to Max Aroma for my samples, or I go to Scent Split. Thanks for Philip Franklin turning me onto that one. Scent Split's pretty badass. All right, let me scroll down here. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Creatine HCl versus monohydrate. What's up? Monohydrate. It's the only thing you need. You don't need to be spending a butt ton of money on some weak ass shit. Like, it's not going to do anything different. Monohydrate, you can go and buy like a whole bunch on what's it called, on Amazon for like $20. It'll last you like 3 years. Oh man. Spice Bomb Original, Spice Bomb Extreme, good stuff. Spice Bomb Night Vision, awful. Thank you. Listen, Night Vision. Now I'm disappointed with some of the fragrances that I've purchased, but I've kept them. Like, I have Invictus Aqua Intense, I believe. Fucking hate it. I have Bleu de Chanel. Fucking hate it. Even though I love the opening of it. I have Sauvage. Fucking hate it. Won't ever wear it. But I kept it. What else do I hate? Paco Rabanne 1 million. Do I hate it? No. But do I love it? No. 1 million Privé. Love. Absolutely love it. I should wear it more, but I don't. Nasamoto Pardon. I haven't tried it. I haven't smelled it. You guys, if you want to, and email me these things. Like, email me stuff that I need to try. I'm all about this stuff. I'll get to you in a second, Scott. But yeah, so where I'm going with this story, Spice Bomb Night Vision was the only fragrance I've ever returned. And I'll tell you why. Because once I have something kind of stuck in my head as to what it is, like what I have it pegged as, I end up fucking hating it. So like, I don't want to ruin Tom Ford fucking Fabulous for you. Because if I put it in your head, you might fucking smell it and then be like, oh yeah, that's all I can smell from here on out. Kind of like Creed is ruined for me right now because all I can smell is pineapple. Night Vision, it smelled like shower gel. It smelled like Old Spice shower gel. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm not gonna wear something $95 or whatever. After 2 sprays, I hate. You know what I mean? So I went and I returned it. I'm a shirt guy, have dozens. Letting them keep one and never answer their calls keeps them on their toes. I love it. Does anyone have any experience getting off of Zoloft? I have experience getting off of Cymbalta and a whole bunch of other shit that the VA had me on. It depends. So this is something I think that you should just personally write me, because there's probably a few things that you're going to have to do. My recommendation is always going to be, this is kind of sketchy to say on the air, but I think Iboga really helped me out with that as well. Even though ayahuasca also helped. Zoloft isn't a benzo, I don't believe. Zoloft is a SSRI. But benzos are tough to come off of as well. Like very, very, very tough. Right? Zoloft. Because Xanax is the benzo. JJ's got it. Max Roma Scent Split, the Decant Boutique. Alpha Fragrance is also a good place to get samples and decants. Good stuff. Good stuff. Corey, what's your rep range? For me right now, I'm actually in the fucking 6 to 8 rep range. I'm lifting heavier and I'm going lower reps because we're trying to build some muscles. I'm trying to build the upper titties. What else are we trying to build up? I'm trying to build up everything. While I'm cutting, we're building just to make sure we burn the most amount of fat. So that's my rep range. Excuse me. Yes, that's exactly the next. That was going to be the first thing that I recommended, because that's going to help reconnect your neural pathways in a proper way so that you'll actually be able to reuptake serotonin and dopamine properly. Yeah, there's a big difference between doing. So obviously I'm sober, but I still recommend that people go and do what's it called? These shamanic rituals, because here's the thing that most people, if you were to do a heroic dose of mushrooms right now of psilocybin, like 5 grams, you're not gonna fucking want to do mushrooms tomorrow. It's not gonna be a party. You're gonna see things about yourself and about life where you're gonna be like, holy fuck, like shit. Now, the thing I got to tell you about mushrooms is this, and a lot of people in the chat are probably going to disagree with me. Mushrooms are liars. All right. Because the thing that happens with mushrooms, though, is you get a little bit too mushy. And what I mean by that is it was kind of the same thing with peyote. Not necessarily the same thing with peyote, but mushrooms try to tell you, because you got to understand how the fungus actually operates. They all work as a collective. They're all part of like one connected group. That's how mushrooms operate. We as humans, we are not part of a collective. We are all individuals, right? So there's a level by which you have to operate with society. Like that's part of our social structure. But then there's also a part of you that has to recognize that you're an individual and you're on your own path as well. Mushrooms have the tendency to start teaching you that we're all one. We're all one, we're all together, we're all yay, like be this kind of like mushy kind of person, right? They do have the tendency to do that. So that's kind of part of the euphoria aspect of that, which is healing, but people get addicted to that and people end up trying to actually carry that over into the world. And the reality is that's not a true part of reality. That's why I really like Iboga. Iboga is definitely the best teacher that I've learned from thus far. Do you think most of the big fragrance reviewers get paid to hype this stuff up? Yes, I do. I think Jensense, I think Ash is the only person right now that I can't peg on whether or not he has anyone paying him anything. Honestly. But I could tell you that Demi Rawling, I believe her name is, she is definitely getting paid, in my opinion. She's definitely getting paid by Parfums de Marly, and she hypes them up like crazy. Like the way she described, Darlie. I was getting excited for Darlie because I don't have for me personally, I don't feel like I have a great summer fragrance, and we're approaching the summer. And she was like drooling all over Darlie. She's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Right. I love her fucking little Australian accent too. Even though she's not cute face, looked at her body. I was just like, meh, you're like a 7 body, if that. So I was like, I had to smell Darlie. I went searching. I walked right up to the lady and I was like, show me Darlie right now. And I smelled it and I was like, this is poop. This is not good. And then that's when I actually smelled Ojan and I was like, yo, give me that fucking sample of Ojan right now. Rock and roll. So yeah, I think a lot of these people do. But yeah. Seriously, add a testosterone cream, first let dry, and then add your favorite fragrance. This man will create a special godlike ability around females and gay men alike. Absolutely. Thor doesn't fuck around, people. He's the real deal. First day back to doing a full workout. Good man. Rock and roll with that shit. Uh-oh. I wanted to read this. I'm ready for DMT. Where do I start? Do what you got to do. I thought DMT was awesome, but I'm telling you again that my best teacher thus far has been Iboga. If you're a guy, I really, really think that should be what you should try to shoot for. But yeah, go give ayahuasca a try. She'll fucking tear you a new one, which is absolutely a beautiful thing, to be honest with you. But it takes recovery after that for sure. I used to go on death marches. That's crazy. You have to be in the right mindset to explore those. Need a solid neurochemical balance. Absolutely. If I wean off really, really slowly in doses, do you think that will work? I've done mushrooms like 1,000 times and my ego gets all blown up. When's the last time you did it though? Because now, no man is, what's the fucking saying about a river, right? Like man is like a river or something like that. Like every time you go and see a river or go to a river, you're not the same man and the river's not the same as well. Something along, I don't fucking know. I don't do well with these Instagram fucking inspirational quotes. Paul Stamets on mushrooms. Exactly. Very good stuff. I go straight to the Berserker on mushies. There you go. They get free bottles. Absolutely. And they probably get paid a little bit as well. You probably get paid a little bit. Viking Berserkers did use mushrooms. They say it eliminated the fear of death. Well, you definitely get that with ayahuasca and iboga for sure, because you die dead. I died like a motherfucker on what's it called? I also used to do heroic doses of fucking edibles, cannabis edibles. And holy fuck, I'd have ego deaths like nobody's fucking business. Gents, I don't know what's up with me right now, but I have to take a leak. Like I'm kind of like fighting it, and I still got a whole lot more I want to talk about. So give me a minute. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that felt tremendous. I took a whole bunch of maca and fucking yohimbe today, and I'm like fucking vibrating, like in a good way for sure. I think that's what's made me have to take a piss every 45 minutes on top of. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Oh, what do we got here? Scott Offit, depends on your inner will and strength. Building a solid foundation and weaning works if you have the inner strength to do so. Brain chemistry is tricky. Yeah, you would be surprised, though, how much of a grasp that stuff has on your mindset. But I do recommend weaning. Obviously, in this one, I would definitely talk to a doctor and be like, yo, we need to fix some shit. One thing I could tell you also, Scott, is this 5-HTP and St. John's wort will help out with the weaning process as well. And then Hugo, obviously, let me know that if you're taking 5-HTP daily, you also want to take a green tea extract, also known as Hugo. Go ahead and post that up. What is it? EGCG? I believe that's what it's called, as I look at a bottle of what I have right there. Speaking of, let's take some. There we go. This is Lipolyze from Species Nutrition, my diet coach, my lifting coach. That's his product. I don't know what the fuck to do. I have not felt depressed or anxious in years. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Give it a try, man. You got a good support network of guys here. You got me, who's been able to come off of this stuff myself. I was on that shit for fucking 2.5 years straight. And then they tried to fucking redose me. I said, fuck that shit. And I went down to the goddamn Amazon jungle, Amazon forest, rainforest, right? And did my own stuff. Mushrooms make me feel like a little kid. Everything is new and novel. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there too. And that's kind of why I don't like them either. Because it's like, I don't want to be treated like a kid. Not anymore. I feel like I lived, because I wasn't initiated into manhood. I feel like I lived 30 years of living as a boy. Now I want to be a man. I want to be a man. So, again, Iboga. I had some guy come in the comment section the other day telling me it's Iboga, Corey. Iboga. In America, we say it with an I. It's like, yeah, well, guess what? It's not from fucking America, bitch. Edibles are great. They're great until they're not. They're great until you do DMT. And then after that, you have fucking crazy, wild DMT experiences that are like earth-shattering and fucking whatever. After ayahuasca told me, you can't ever touch cannabis again. And I was like, watch me. And I came home and I started smoking and eating and doing all that other shit. And it was just like, all right, bitch, here we go. Oh, dang. The berserkers also mix the mushrooms with booze for even more effect. I wonder if they were using Amanita muscaria too, that it's a specific type of strain. Anybody read Red Rising? When the Obsidians were taking mushrooms before they breached the ships, reminded me of the Vikings comment. That's crazy. You didn't wash your hands. My dick's clean, baby. Mushrooms for me must be done in ritual and heroic doses. Yes, exactly. For me, it's a very individual thing, and I get sucked into the universe. Very geometrical visuals and hyper peripheral senses. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Maca's good stuff. You ever hear the story of the Marine and the sailor? They're both taking a piss. And the sailor looks to the Marine and says, hey, you didn't wash your hands? Say, in the Marines, they teach us not to piss on our hands. Anyway, I forgot what movie that was from. I think it was like Die Hard or something. Unfortunately, I can't do drugs because I fucking get addicted and start thinking about other drugs. If you do these things the right way, this is what I'm saying. It's like, if you go and do ayahuasca, dude, I'm telling you, same thing with Iboga. You're not going to want to do it the next day. You're not going to want to do it for like years, months, years afterwards, because it's such a kick in the ass. And believe it or not, it is also so terrible tasting that you kind of remember that. It's almost like, how many of you guys out there have ever drank a bunch of tequila and then thrown off a tequila and you're like, ugh, I'm never drinking that again. So then when you think of tequila, you start salivating and want to throw up. It's the same thing with ayahuasca and Iboga. It's the same thing. And it's actually, I feel like if you take a heroic dose of mushrooms, same thing. Fucking nuts. Like, you're not going to get addicted if you do it right. Magnesium in green tea. Hell yeah. What does the species nutrition do? What does it do? The species nutrition do? This is just like like an easy cutter. Alpha lipoic acid, L-carnitine, green tea extract, oleic acid, and then Guggulsterones. Guggulsterones. There you go. It's just for cutting. That's all. Oh, shit. Another reason why doctors can't be a go-to, learn the chemistry and use them sparingly. Everything will pass in time. I agree. That's why I'm not a big fan of Western, what's it called? Yeah, that's what I think too. I believe the Vikings took Amanita muscaria. Exactly. Which is a different trip. That's probably the only mushroom I'll ever do again is if I got some Amanita muscaria, but I just don't. I'm kind of good. I'm kind of good hanging out in reality. I'm kind of good just doing Iboga. Like that's like I'm kind of done. Yeah, DMT is for sure earth shattering. It's crazy. Yes. Yeah, it's the Mario. Hey, look at that. That's the Amanita muscaria right there. Who dat? Ayahuasca had the same effect on Graham Hancock, told him to cut out the weed. Yeah, exactly. I'd love to talk to Graham Hancock. That dude's fucking solid. Corey, show here. I did Iboga on my own. I failed miserably, puked it all out. I'm doing round 2. I think I can do it right this time. Got any pointers? Shoot me an email. I got some pointers. I don't think that you should do it by yourself, but if you do it by yourself, I think you can do it in a more ritualistic way. And because, listen, here's the thing is Iboga, from what I understand spiritually, consciously, all this other stuff, Iboga's I think Iboga is a more, it's a higher level teacher than ayahuasca. And ayahuasca is a super high level teacher. So if you're not doing it in the context of the tradition, I think the reason why you puked it all out is because that's kind of input versus output, right? You're not doing the right inputs. Scott, get addicted to growth, gym, and leveling up. Take the leap. He's doing it. He's definitely, Scott's part of my men's group, and he's definitely getting there for sure. Yeah, see, he just says it. I'm already addicted to all that stuff. Yeah, he's doing the work. Ugh. Shouldn't say that phrase anymore. Go to Iboga Wellness Center. Exactly. I agree with that for sure. And he's going in March. Scott, if you're really worried about addiction stuff, this is the key. Iboga is the key to healing addictions for sure. For the mushroom set and setting for the journey is super important. Yep. The thing about mushrooms, I mean, any of these psychedelics is it's all about the container. It's all about the container for sure. It's too expensive. I'm scraping pennies here. Do you drink matcha powder? I heard the Buddhists use it a lot to help with meditation. I don't, because they add different levels of sweetener and stuff like that in it, I think, for the matcha green tea powders. Well, at least the fucking Western style stuff. Scott, your mind is a circus like mine. Build some shit, stay busy, idle hands, man. Did alcohol ever mess with your head? I've done a lot. I have no idea why alcohol is my girl. Alcohol usually relates to a lot of, I mean, with any addiction in any sense, it's a means for you to disassociate from nurturing your own emotions. I have a theory that people that are kind of hooked on cannabis and are habitual cannabis users, they're addicted to their mother because their mother seems to be the one that hurt them the most. They tried to put all their effort into connecting with their mothers and didn't get the love back that they were doing. So cannabis is their kind of surrogate mother. And that's kind of what the energy is. Alcohol, for me, from what I understand, alcohol, I mean, aside from if I were to rank on a level of stuff, of growth and all this other shit, obviously meth is the lowest level from what I understand of drug. Then I'd probably say, like, as far as like darkness is concerned, then I'd probably say, yeah, definitely like heroin and crack, then cocaine. I'd want to put ketamine somewhere in there too, but there was also quite a bit of insight that came from ketamine, but ketamine's pretty fucking dark. Like, I was in a K-hole for like 3 weeks after I fucked with ketamine, and I'm like, fuck, never again. Glad I got out of that shit. That was nuts. Holy fuck. Alcohol is right in there with those, though. It's a very low vibrational, low frequency type of drug. And there's even rumors that say that when you drink alcohol, the reason why they used to call it spirits is because you would attract low vibrational spirits into your body. They would kind of like take control of the steering wheel. That's why people lose inhibition and make terrible decisions when they fucking drink. It's just sharing knowledge with you. I'm not saying I necessarily 100% believe in this stuff, but I think there's some truth to it. So, I'm wondering why. Yeah. So he's saying alcohol's the devil. It's bad. It's really bad. So I wonder what you're dealing with that would cause alcohol to be your girl. It definitely sounds like you have a numbing issue for sure. I mean, that's essentially what it comes down to. But yeah. Good stuff though. Thanks for sharing that, man. Seriously, it takes balls to kind of throw that stuff out there in front of a bunch of dudes too. Save up, my dude. Worthwhile experience requires sacrifice. I agree. Alcohol's the devil. Straight goods. I'm addicted to eating and sleeping. Ooh. Wow, the weed mother connection. I see that in my friends who smoke. Yeah, exactly. That's how I learned it. I just started to notice that with a lot of people. I was like, I'm kind of seeing along the same lines for sure. I wish I had never tried alcohol. It got its hooks in me early on, and I have never been able to kick it entirely. A lot of people go and use iboga in order to get over alcohol dependency because alcohol is one of the hardest things in the world to overcome. Your liver actually creates an entirely new enzyme. If you're daily drinking or you drink quite a bit, your liver creates a new enzyme in order to be able to digest alcohol. And that's why people are actually die when they try to withdraw cold turkey. Now, doesn't mean that it always happens, but it's because the body has become so adapted to having that chemical. It's like, how can we go back kind of deal? Scott Offit, you should, bro. I'm going this summer. It will sort shit out for us. Agreed. It's the initiation you guys need. Special K and alcohol affect the same nerves or part of your brain or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. Dropping knowledge with the spirits. I know what I'm talking about. I've explored the spirit world at fucking length, man. I've gone to the edges from what I believe. Good night. Adios, my dude. I'll see you around. What's up, dude? Yeah, you've missed out on quite the podcast so far. We're fucking all over the place. I'm not even on topic today, but who cares? We'll get there. I mean, it kind of ties into this stuff, but whatever. Post-workout food time. There you go. What are you eating? Alcohol, weed is comfort, as every comfort brings instant peace. Okay in moderation only. Embrace the uncomfortable and emotional pain. Growth is imminent. Ayahuasca sounds a bit scarier. I don't want a feminine drug, the most intense one, kicking my ass. If you don't want it, then don't do it. That's how I look at it. Like I said, iboga was a greater teacher to me. I smoke a lot, and I see that completely. Kind of shaking. I feel you. Alcohol makes you black out more than anything else and has some of the worst withdrawal symptoms. Yep, exactly what I was just talking about. Not good for you. Should I join the service? About to graduate from college, and I want to join the service, even though others say I should explore other routes. Shoot me an email at agodofmen@gmail.com, and we'll talk through it a little bit further. About to graduate from college, which means you're probably going to want to go in as an officer, and I don't believe in anyone fucking joining the military as an officer. That's me personally. Why? Because officers go through OCS, Officer Candidate School, and they're kind of taught that they're a cut above everybody else. Because why? they went to college. And they're kind of supposed to be held that way. But the problem is most of these people are political in nature and they run administrative stuff. And the thing about the military is, although we do need aspects of that, that's not really what the military is about. The military is about brotherhood. It's about camaraderie. It's about, in the Marine Corps, what's known as esprit de corps. I think officers come in and they are quite the opposite. They're very much more individualized and they're much more willing to burn their troops in order for them to get ahead, especially in today's political climate. That's me being real with you. I think everyone needs to enter into the military as enlisted, and then as they progress can opt into doing some type of officer training or becoming an officer. But that's my take. I'd have to pick your brain a little bit more about who you are and what type of personality you have and all that other stuff to decipher. I'd also like to see what your upbringing is like and where you're going and where you're trying to go. But I think there's a lot of men out there that we have to play with the warrior archetype, right? A lot of men want to go and they want to be tested and they want to be pushed to a different limit. That's going to happen in the military, but it's not all good, which is good, right? Like you got to learn about stuff. But today's military is not the ideal scene as well. So like I said, shoot me an email and we'll talk through it. I'm from Chile and people there drink way too much and strong. I started super early and I'm glad I quit early. Good job. On what level would you put tobacco or speed? I would put that just above. Now, here's the thing is if you're smoking organic tobacco and you aren't smoking too much where you're like consuming it constantly, I don't think tobacco's too terrible. Tobacco is also a very masculine spirit. If we were to talk about like an energy, but it's going to be around, it's just going to be above alcohol, I would say. Speed, I've never done speed, so I can't really say it, but it's in the same kind of the same category of meth, but higher level. So it's like, I'd put it on the same level as cocaine, which is lower than alcohol. When I searched the wellness center, I saw it help with porn addiction. That only showed me that I was on the right path, but needing this gone from my life ASAP. End of year goal. Absolutely. It's only going to make you a much better person. And it's just, porn, really what it comes down to is it's just a behavioral addiction. So you have some kind of addiction to, it seems like you're kind of tapped into like a scarcity type of thing where you're not able to understand your value fully and realize that things are kind of in a way abundant and they can come and go kind of deal. So that's really what that comes down to. It'll be good to work through that. And there's probably something in your childhood that will come up as well. I feel you there, Daniel Molina. That's one addiction I'm still dealing with. Funny thing is that I thought it'd go away if I got more girls, but it didn't pan out that way. This is just mindset oriented stuff too. And I think this is probably something that we should talk about in WarTribe. If you guys really want some tips and tricks, the number one thing is to not feel shame about it. And I don't think you guys do for being able to openly admit it, but just take note of how you feel after you do, watch porn and jerk off. Now in the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, he actually talks about people who have masturbation issues. Right. And the thing with masturbating is it's kind of like, and I hate to say it, I don't want to use this term to make you guys feel shame, but it's kind of a loser's way out. Why is it a loser's way out? Well, because in a way, subconsciously, it registers that I wasn't in a way alpha enough or good enough to be able to source this myself. So I had to rely on myself to do this. And that's kind of why you feel that it's not the same release after having sex as it is jerking off. There's a bit of shame associated with it because that's part of our natural drive. It's part of our natural drive for sure. And like one of our key motivators is to have sex. So it's part of our subconscious thing. And people could just get away, honestly, with just turning into mush in their basement, like most people are today, and jerking off. So that's the signal you're getting. So we want to play with it. How can you, a lot of us, what we do is we swing the pendulum all the way to the far extreme. I have an addiction, so therefore I need to quit cold turkey 100% and never look at it again or else I'm bad. And then a week and a half later, because just like I said to you guys the other day with men, when you tell yourself don't do this, it's going to register in your brain like do this, do this, do this. Like saying don't in front of it doesn't register for us. So what you got to say instead is this. I'm going to allow myself, if I'm weaning off of it, one time a week. I'll watch porn and I'll jerk off one time a week. And then reduce it down to like once every 2 weeks. And then reduce it down to once a month. And I'd keep it there. Keep it in your safe for hard times or whatever. Now, the other thing too, like I was talking about within the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy, he talks about edging essentially. Jerk off for yourself. Like just go through it, but don't ejaculate. Because the ejaculation is going to send signals of shame and guilt. So if you need to, just go through the motions until you get to a point where you can just kind of stop and be like, all right, that was good enough, right? So try that out. Can you give an example of a high vibrational drug? Yeah, as it continues to climb up, it goes cannabis, mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca, iboga. Those are the high vibrational ones, in my opinion. Yeah. From what I've experienced thus far. Yeah, growing your own tobacco is pretty crazy. It's good stuff. The amount of young men searching for help these days is astronomical. Keep posting vids, advice. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that. High vibrational drug is CBD. CBD is pretty good. The cannabinoids are huge. Yeah. Or just hire a hooker. If you want to quit, I recommend not counting the days. Yeah, we got to replace it with something else too. That's the thing with men is you got to replace it with a new, better habit. So that's why I like teaching game. Of course, the more you start to get it, the more you're going to fucking rev high and you're going to be like, oh shoot, well, I didn't get it today. I've gone through this, like the red pill gluttony phase where I was banging like 5 different chicks a week. And then when I wasn't banging, I had to like go and release it. Right. Cause my body started to overdrive. And then I started to like tamper down the amount of girls. And I was like, okay, well, on my off days where I'm not sleeping with someone, like I'm okay being with myself and accomplishing my goals. And that's like when I started writing my books, right? I would sit there and instead of jerking off or thinking about sex or whatever, I'd be pouring myself into whatever I'm trying to build or doing whatever here, right? Yeah, staying busy. But the thing is, it's not just staying busy, because if you're staying busy to avoid it, it's still going to be on the back of your mind. It's actually pouring yourself into something. There's something to be said about sexual energy. It's very, very constructive, but also at the same time can be very, very destructive, right? That's why like the men of power back in the day would only sleep with their wives and they would only bang their wives like once or twice a week or whatever. And then the rest of the time they were sitting in council with one another, talking about how to run society and civilization and all this other stuff, right? I like to have a little bit more frequency than that because I can still operate and still do different things, but 100% right. Like if when I was going through my red pill gluttony phase and I was just banging as many chicks as possible throughout the week, I was going on like 5 dates a week, guys. And sometimes I'd have double dates backed up and sometimes I'd bang 2 girls in one day. I did that back to back. It was pretty fucking cool. 2 days in a row, 2 different girls in a day, 2 days in a row. That was pretty awesome. Anyway, you have to find something. And this is another thing that we're talking about here too, is this. Like, I know it's really difficult to ask this question or answer this question. What are you passionate about? What is your passion and what is your purpose? And that's a question that men have been dying to answer. And the crazy part is through my spiritual exploration of all the stuff that I've done thus far, I've been able to find it. And what's crazy right now is I'm actually starting to notice this. And I actually kind of look at this falling out between MLD and Rich Cooper and all these people. I actually kind of find it as a blessing because now I'm sitting here and I'm realizing that, okay, this might not have been 100% my purpose. This might have just been a chapter leading me towards it. And today, and a couple days ago as well, I started to realize there's a bigger path to this. And that's a direction I'm trying to go now. And it's like, man, that's fucking huge. That's huge, right? But a lot of people out there, they don't even have the starting blocks to get there. And that's why when I wrote this book and I talk about this, that boys need to be initiated into manhood, that's why that needs to happen at 13 years old. It needs to happen, and they need to have this connection to the spiritual world so that when life gets kind of rough, well, first off, they're going to have some kind of connection, and that's going to kind of be their way for them to be able to see and go in the direction that they need to, what their passions are. It's going to be able to cut through the bullshit. It's going to initiate them. They're going to learn about death. Death is one of the best teachers that I've ever fucking learned from as well, if I'm being honest. I learned to turn death into a friend instead of a foe, and that's what separates boys from men. Realizing, yes, one day I'm going to die. I can't run away from it, so I might as well fucking live. You feel me? A lot of these guys today, a lot of what I call boys, uninitiated men, they're so fearful of death, they're doing everything in their power to run away. And as a matter of fact, going back to what Mike Nelson was saying, I think that has a lot to do with alcohol. I think that's why that's why people turn to alcohol. If now that I'm kind of talking this stuff out there, I think it's because they haven't been initiated. And they're kind of like in the back of their mind, they've just been running away from death. And that's a scary thing to do. That takes a lot of energy out of you to run away from death. So what do? At the end of a long day, you come home and you pop open a few cold ones, or you fucking pour yourself a glass of whiskey or whatever. And it's like, oh shit, like this is numbing me enough so I don't have to really worry about the fear of it any longer. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that idea. Anyway. Just went off on a tangent again. I love those things. People say cannabis is good for depression. I have to completely disagree. Cannabis made depression worse for me. I agree. But when things were going well and I didn't abuse cannabis, it was really the best. I agree. But here's the thing is I still think, and this is what I was able to kind of understand, using a psychedelic, because that's what it is. It's a psychedelic. People don't really, it's no matter what, it's a psychotropic. We could definitely say that. It's a psychedelic when you eat it. It's a psychotropic when you smoke it. It messes with the brain chemistry and the brain patterns that you operate on. I've talked about this before, as far as like your alpha, theta, delta waves, as well as I believe it triggers a lot of release of cortisol and adrenaline. I think because that's what is needed for that to get flushed out of your system, because your brain's trying to get back to baseline. So it uses a lot of cortisol and it uses a lot of adrenaline, which then hyperinflates your amygdala, which then puts you in a state of more anxiety and more depression. So that's really what it comes down to. So sitting here and saying, once I didn't abuse it, it was really the best. You're still leaving yourself open to those kinds of things. Good stuff, man. Really good job. The instantaneous nature of what I feel hookups of the most, I have reduced 5 days to 2 days already. The eradication part is the hardest right now. Good job. Just edge yourself then. I know that sounds fucking weird, but just get to a steady point where you're like, all right, I kind of worked a little bit of this out, and that's it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. He talks about masturbating for yourself, like masturbating to like your own pleasure. And it kind of takes that edge away of like longing for a woman instead. Oh shit. Scrolled way too far. Holy crap. You guys are killing it with the fucking comments. I love it. How many people are watching live right now? 43. How many likes are we at? 35. Let's make sure we're hitting that like button, people. Yep, there you go. I agree. Replace it with something healthier. When I think about it, I go straight to thinking of my training idea to replace the thought. There you go. Sexual energy is definitely one of, if not the most powerful energy we have at our disposal. I agree. I think that's the engine by which everything operates within reality. And I talk about that a bit in my new book, A Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism. If you guys haven't gotten that, go Go to Amazon now and purchase. Male aggression energy needs an outlet. Even low T men struggle with sexual inactivity and lack of productivity. Facts. Facts. So when I think of masturbating, before I finish, I think about a boring scene in a book, and I read a while back, and it kills it. There you go. Yes, exactly. They still have that, but they're being taught not to be men, and that's the downfall. Good stuff. Thanks, Ray. The connection in this room is genuine. Corey is on another vibration those other guys were intimidated by. It happens, man. I sit and I reflect on this stuff, and it's like, I did what I could. I did what I could, and I do hope that there could be some smoothing out, but at the same time too, I kind of, like I said, man, it's like, it's okay. I'm fine. Right? Like, new things will happen. No big deal. What episode was that? Was it on Saturday, guys, that I discussed this, I believe? Go back to episode 29 and go around the 50-minute mark, and I believe you'll be able to hear exactly what I explained. Build shit. Absolutely. Negative Ghost Rider. Yeah, man, we're good. Go to episode 29 around the 50-minute mark, and I explain it in there. And I hate to come on here every single day and talk about this stuff, but it's okay. Oh man. Yeah, but at the same time too, he's also a big boy, and he has his own level of intuition, and he has the ability to, when it's his own channel, to make his own decision. So do I blame him for stuff? Not necessarily, but have I lost a great amount of respect? Absolutely. It's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same as it was before. So that's that for sure. The other thing that I'm starting to see, guys, is that it wasn't just ego. It has a lot to do with money. And for those that have a scarcity mindset, they think that the pie is set. And I also think that there was a little bit of, we'll leave that. I don't feel like getting into fucking conspiracy theories about this shit. But anyway, thank you, JJ the Terrible. I appreciate that. Corey, this is good. Sorry, but MLD and Rich are strictly business. That's kind of what I was just talking about. MLD wasn't. He wasn't. When he first found me, MLD was all about the growth of men, but he hired Rich as a coach. This is what people don't know. He hired Rich as a coach, and then Rich now has his ear and is kind of directing what he does. And that's essentially what happened with all of this. Excuse me. So there was a wedge driven between. No big deal. More power to those guys. Yep. No big deal. Shit, where are we? Mental construct. Fear is a mental construct. Break it. Yeah, you can get over fear. Jiu-jitsu that shit. Turn it into your bitch. Stop hesitating. Exactly. I like you, dude. I like this guy a lot. I wish I knew your actual name. But awesome stuff. Heard you on Sharp. Strong work. Thanks, my man. I appreciate the super chat as well. You're a fucking real G. Called into Donovan Sharp's show earlier today. And I was on his show a couple weeks ago, I believe. And dude, again. Donovan Sharp is the real deal. He's a fucking solid guy. He gives tremendous value, right? And he's a man of his word. That's what I got to say about him. Like, he's a man of his word. He follows through. Again, thank you for that super chat too, man. Isn't having kids the key to not having fear of death? You are known by your fruits, i.e., starting a family. I would disagree. That's legacy. There's a difference between having a legacy where you know that there's going to be something that lives beyond you, but that's not fear of death. That's not fear of death at all. You as an individual first have to conquer death. And then, because that's what's wrong with most men today. Most men today are thinking that getting married and having kids is the right initiation, and that they have to be a perfect embodiment of what the good guy is, right? Essentially, it's the nice guy. That's what the nice guy conditioning is. And that's why men fall head over heels for their women, and they kind of lower themselves down in their family unit. And that's why women lose respect for them. And then they end up losing their family. So I'd say no. I'd say an initiated man is a far better father as well to his kids, because he's going to teach his children reality, because he's seen it. He's seen it, But thanks for the question. This was a really good question. Late to the party. What's up? Fuck. This is a hell of an episode. That's what's up, dude. Missed a lot. We're all over the place, but it's fucking epic. I love this type of stuff. There are studies that show testosterone peaks at 7 days from last release. I always experience that boost around 6 to 7 days. That's if you're naturally with your testosterone. Oh, man. Anyway, I could tell you this, though. I busted 2 nuts yesterday, and I went 5 days, I think, maybe 4 days without busting. I busted 2 nuts yesterday. Due to sex, not masturbation. And today I was feeling pretty lackadaisical. There's something in your mind that registers that once you get it and once you have an abundance, you no longer have to put in the work. So that's why another thing that we have to do. I know you posted W. Good job. Lobsters were getting scared of what? Watching I. What the fuck are you doing, dude? Oh, man. Most of you are men. Own your shit, build something, and stop spending your time on weak people. Kill or be killed. Embrace it. I agree with you here. Absolutely. I'm fucking cutthroat with who I have in my inner circle. I'm cutthroat with who I spend time with. And if you're not living up to snuff, and if you're someone I can't trust, I'll cut you. Like, honestly, like, I am fucking savage. Like, even my guys in the WarTribe chat, they're like, you're fucking savage, dude. It's like, yeah, I had to learn to be. If people aren't living up to snuff, man, I'm not going to sit there and try to fucking raise you up. It's already what I'm doing, right? I'm already doing that. So if I got to sit there and I got to like pat you on the back and tell you, come on, Kipper, let's go. It's like, for the people that have proved themselves to me, will I give them second chances and all this other stuff and like kind of lift them up when they're down a bit? Absolutely. Ask my guys, like when they're down in the gutter, absolutely will do. But if you're the type of person that comes in and I got to do that right off the bat, it's like, no. You got to do your own shit. Corey, you're still going to leave your mark on the sphere. It kind of sucks to me that it won't be with them, but you always have things of value to offer to men. I agree. Thor likes to say this is a hiatus. I tend to agree with Thor. I think that we all see the writing on the wall as well. This was a bit of a power struggle, so to speak. But I'm hoping that it comes back around full circle and that we're all able to kind of come together in a way in order to help build men up, because that's the mission. Let's stay mission focused. That's the type of person I am. Like, forego feelings, forego ego, mission accomplishment before all. Let's do it. This is our time to shine. Let's do it. Here to change the subject. How's your woman sitch? Last week, I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus. I have a few of them on retainer, like obviously spinning plates. I had a new one come over earlier today, and then I'm going on a date on Wednesday. but I'm usually sourcing about 1 or 2 new ones a week to every 10 days. And that's me like barely swiping, and that's me barely talking. But right now it's not it's not the highest priority. I would much rather have a relationship with financial independence or financial freedom first, right? Financial freedom first, then financial independence. Is that how it goes? Yeah, I think. Oh, I missed when you were on. Yeah, no worries. Jeremy, keep doing you. Thank you for the super chat as well. Good to know. And as always, I throw my email out there often. If you guys ever have topics you want to talk about or talk about something personal on the side, feel free to email me. Thanks, dude. Doot. Kids are the beginning of a lifelong fear of what is happening to them. Yeah, I don't have kids. I have a dog. I think as a man, you also have to learn to kind of separate yourself and your investment from them as well. I know that sounds kind of counterproductive, but from what I've been able to learn from my years of being in the military and seeing fathers leave their children over and over, and then seeing the fathers come back and the kids like being so excited to see their dads don't really need to be around 100% of the time. Fathers just need to be the role model. You do better just setting the tone and showing your kids what to be rather than having to be there every day. And I know that sounds, especially in today's fucking society where we have bubble wrapped kids and everyone thinks that they got to be around their kid 100% of the time and that their child's a miracle and all this other stuff. It's like back in the day, I was like, fuck, well, I got 8 kids and 4 of those are probably going to die. So I got to stay detached somehow, some way. So that's kind of it. Uncle Donovan, pure gold. Yeah, he's fucking awesome. You remind me of a few friends from SD keeping this shit alive. Hell yeah. Don Donovan tells it how it is. He's the man. Yeah, Corey's and DS's advice for me to turn the dial down on chasing tail has made a huge difference on my self-growth. Yeah, actually, that was him. He told you that, and I just seconded it because that was a way better idea. We had to turn the volume up a little bit to get you uncomfortable, but then I think now you're on the right path for sure. Sharp is awesome. I've boxed and jiu-jitsu, probably need to join again. There you go. I'm a huge fan of jiu-jitsu. I was just looking for another's perspective. Thank you guys for the comment input. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, there you go. I agree. This is why I like to come on, Corey. You talk about results with pickup and spinning plates and all that. Absolutely. I'm 100% open with it. For those of you guys that want to hear my receipts or see my receipts, the last 3 out of 5 I've been able to get interviews out of, and 3 of the interviews are posted up on my Patreon. Of course, you have to be a Patreon member or a patron, but you're able to hear from the horse's mouth, like the girls that I'm hooking up with on the regular and all this other stuff. So real deal. One of the biggest egregious sins I think someone could do is lie on their dick, lie about the number of women they've slept with or their experiences. Like, just be real about it. It's okay. Like, that's part of being a man. Just face the acceptance or whatever. Me and Donovan got off to a bad start. Yeah, I know, right? I remember that. I was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? John P says, I remember that. Good shit. Well, fuck. Today's episode was supposed to be about the art of self-approval. So I guess I'll hit on it. But we talked about a lot of stuff today that kind of ties into it, honestly. But the biggest thing that I want you guys to remember is this. The only person that needs to approve of your actions is you. The only person that needs to sit there and give acceptance to you is you. That's where it needs to start off at least from a red pill perspective. And as far as being a man is concerned, right? A lot of people today, we live life looking for external validation. So actually, really what I want this to read is the art of self-validation as well. Validation and approval, the same thing. My man Thor and I were talking about this. And that's one of his biggest things that he talks about as far as masculinity is concerned, is he said, you need to be able to self-validate, or you need to be able to self-approve, right? You got to be able to wake up with yourself every single day and say, this is the direction I'm going to go, and these are the things I'm going to try to do. I put the hashtag dark triad in there at the top. If you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, self-approval, dark triad. The dark triad gets a bad reputation, but at the same time, a lot of those traits are just naturally masculine. Sure, of course, can some people take them too far as far as narcissism is concerned? As far as I know, psychopathy. Yeah, psychopathy is, it can be pretty fucking crazy, but Machiavellianism for sure 100% is definitely very, very masculine, especially very masculine red pill, right? It's like self-service. I'm doing these things in order to serve the good of myself and for those around me. And of course it gets a bad rap, but at the same time is like, there's a hierarchy in society, and you're either alpha, beta, or lower. It's like, who do you want to be? What do you want to be? And in order to take that plunge into trying to approach the alpha type of thing, where you're getting more out of life and you're having more reflected into you, you need to approve of your actions. You need to approve of what you're doing. You need to be okay with being this type of man and approving of it yourself. You don't need the external validation from other people. Now, I've walked down this road before where I'm like, oh, well, I want to be the guy that doesn't need any approval outside of myself. And it's like, that's kind of a lonesome, lonely life. You do need some level of it, but it needs to be very, very balanced. Like in my life, I like the kind of 70-30 or even like an 80-20, where it's like when I get and receive compliments, it feels amazing, but I don't need them. And that's where most people are today. Like you look at these Insta thoughts, you look at these e-girls, you look at the fucking, all these people in today's world that need to have external validation. And it's like, they need to have a whole bunch of it. The scales are tipped, right? And when you have that type of lifestyle, it's like, the reason why I like this myself is because I can source it myself. I can be in control of it. I've reached an emotional state and a relational state with myself where I'm able to have good self-talk and talk about this and reassure myself and nurture myself and approve of the direction I'm trying to go. Because at the end of the day, the only person that needs to live with you is you, right? You need to be happy living with you. If you have any sort of or form of negative self-image or lack of direction or guidance or like fear of having this stuff, it's because you haven't fully accepted who you are. And I know that sounds kind of crazy and this is a little bit woo-woo and all this other stuff, but the fact of the matter is, like, you got to work on that. You got to be okay with taking shots and being okay with doing those things. Because, like, case in point, let's go back to everything that's going on with the whole Rule 0 thing. I took my shot. Essentially what happened was those guys sent me an email telling me to fucking pay for a ticket. And I was like, yo, no, I'm not paying for a ticket. Like, I'm kind of part of the group. You guys should have fucking incorporated me into this. Like, and I should be speaking there. I should be around those guys who look up to me and all this other stuff. And I should be speaking there. So I wrote the email and I said exactly that. No, like, I'm not going to pay for a ticket. And, I think it would be better. Of course, I wrote it in a very professional way. And I said, here's my terms. I know my worth. And I'm okay with taking this shot. I don't care if I piss someone off or hurt their feelings in some way, shape, or form. Like, this is me taking care of me. And of course, there's fallout because of it and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I am happy with my actions. I approve of my actions. I don't need anyone to sit here and be like, Corey, that was the right action. Good job. Or Corey, that was the wrong action. I don't care, because what was going on was this. I was listening to myself and I was saying, this is how I feel. And of course, like I said, I took some time and I made sure that I wasn't just knee-jerk reacting. I was making sure that it wasn't coming from some level of like lower level vibrational stuff of like, is there jealousy here? Is there whatever? Am I just overreacting? Do I have an emotional tie to this kind of deal? Or is it like, hey, is this a reflection somehow, some way of my value and all this other stuff in the direction I'm trying to take my life? So I was like, fuck it. Who cares? Let's go. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to take this shot and it's either going to be a yes or a no. And the fact of the matter is it was a no. So now I know, like, okay, like it's a no and I can move on with my life. But there's so many people out there where for you guys, a lot of people, you just don't take the actions. You don't take the steps in order to find out how it is, because a lot of people are kind of scared to be direct with their life and to approve of those types of things. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be the lone wolf all the time and that you have to always make these decisions on your own. I think there's some big decisions that you should have an inner circle that you bounce these things off of. But I think at least 80 to 85% of the time, you need to be on your own making these key decisions. And you need to be able to sit there at the end of the day and live with it. There's a movie that I just watched last night, and I don't know how you feel about the man, but Dick Cheney. For some time, I had just vile hatred towards the man because obviously I was in both Iraq and Afghanistan, saw war over there and lost friends and obviously suffered from PTSD and all this other shit afterwards. And knowing full well that it had a lot to do with the commercial / military industrial complex and a lot of fucking pay for play and all that other shit. Now, I watched this movie last night. It's called Vice. Highly, highly recommend you guys watch this movie. A very, very, very good movie. I really enjoyed it. And it highlights who this man is. And in a way, I can't help but relate in a way to this guy who he just did things. And now in the movie, it shows a lot of stuff where he's talking to his wife and doing a whole bunch of stuff. But, it seems like his self-approval and his self-validation was beyond reproach when it comes to most men. Now, this isn't to say anything about whether or not this guy was evil or not or any of that stuff. But if you're able to remove yourself from that type of emotional control, so to speak, or emotional attachment and rise above it and just start to see it from the perspective that I'm talking to you about, it's actually respectable. It's kind of crazy to say that. I think even these people that, can be considered like monstrous or whatever, you can still observe them and you could still give some kind of kudos or take some traits and characteristics. Like I talk about, I have Che Guevara tattooed on my arm. There's some traits about him that were absolutely amazing. And of course, there's some other things that were absolutely abhorrent, right? But I can extrapolate those things. You feel me? And I think that's something that I want you guys to also start doing as well, is because what ends up happening, especially in today's world, is if you have one specific characteristic that's considered negative, then you're blanketed with that characteristic and you are completely chastised as being evil, right? And it's like, no, that's not necessarily true. So like, for instance, we talk about the dark triad. It's like, if you have any level of Machiavellianism or narcissism or psychopathy, which are all needed in sales, which are all needed in order to, like, most of the CEOs and fucking people running in high levels of power and position, they all have at some level those fucking traits. And people look at them as leaders. Why? Because those are fucking leadership characteristics. So it's like, we're teaching a whole bunch of men in today's world to not have any of those characteristics. And yet here you see all these men that are falling by the wayside as far as leadership and being able to lead themselves, being able to band together as brothers, or even be able to take on fucking leadership roles within society. It's crazy. It's crazy. So this is something that I want you guys to really start to consider when looking at your life. I talked about it earlier when it came to even the masturbation stuff, when it came to the porn addiction stuff. It's like, you don't have to cut it off cold turkey and consider yourself bad. You can still do it a little bit and wean off and consider this good, right? So you're doing something that you've labeled as bad, but you can still do a little bit of it in order for you to work your way through it. That's how life is, guys, right? Everything, like, not everything is black and white. Not everything is a swing from one fucking extreme to the next. It's a series of steps and progressions. And I guess that's essentially where I want you guys to really start thinking about this stuff when it comes to your own levels of self-approval and self-validation. Start saying, hey, maybe this is good. Maybe this is good. Maybe I am smart enough to lead myself, right? Maybe I'm good enough that the actions that I take, the instincts that I have, and the direction I want to take in my life is okay, and it's healthy for me. I don't need other people to approve of my behavior or my actions or my beliefs or the direction I'm taking my life. I'm okay at the end of the day living with myself and my decisions. So that's about where I'm going to leave it at right now, guys. This has been a long podcast today, for especially starting off as a Monday that didn't start off so well. Fuck. Very, very happy I came on today. What a fucking tremendous podcast. And that's me being fucking self-approving of my own work. But I got to give it up to you guys. Fucking killing it today in the fucking chat. Thank you all to who left super chats as well. Let's make sure we hit that like button. Big thumbs up for fucking today's podcast. We got 40 people watching and 35 likes. So let's make sure we do a little bit more. And if you guys don't mind, at some point, drop a comment in the comment section after the show is over. And that only helps out with the algorithm. It lets people know that this is a valued show, and it'll start to promote it more to other people outside of just the everyday people that are in here. So post whatever you guys want. Post your favorite part of the show. Post some other shit. I don't give a fuck. But that's all I got for you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Rock and roll. See you later. Adios.